Assalamu alaikum students. Hope you are fine. Today we are going to discuss English lesson 5, and that is active and passive voice of simple tenses. First of all, we'll discuss affirmative sentences and the structure of active and passive voice in affirmative sentence is active voice has subject, verb and object, and passive voice has object, auxiliary, verb, by and subject. It means that when we convert active into passive, we have to change the places of object and subject, and the verb will be converted into auxiliary plus third form of verb, and we have to insert by as well. Now, active voice is actually here, the subject of the sentence is the doer of an action. It does the action. That action affects the object of the sentence. On the other hand, in passive voice, the object is acted upon by the subject of the sentence. So here, let's see all the forms of verb. What forms of verb do we use in all three types of simple tenses? In simple present tense, we use first form of verb. But when we convert this into passive voice, we use is, am, are plus third form of verb. In simple past, second form of verb is used, and in passive voice, we use was, were plus third form of verb. In simple future, we use will or shall plus base form of verb. Base form means that first form without the addition of s or es. And when we convert this into passive voice, we use will be or shall be plus third form of verb. Let's see some examples. This is the example of simple present tense. He buys a storybook. So he is the subject, buys is the first form of verb, and a storybook is the object. First of all, we'll just change the places of object and subject. Object will come at the start, a storybook, and subject will go at the end, and we have to put by as well before this. So when he will go at the end, it will become him. So by him. So, and first form of verb will be converted into is, am, are plus third form of verb. And here, as we have a singular, a storybook, so we'll use is with this. A storybook is bought by him. This is the example of simple past tense. He bought a storybook. So bought is the second form of verb that will be converted into was plus third form of verb. A storybook was bought by him. He will buy a storybook. This is the example of simple future tense. So will be converted into will be, and buy will be converted into third form of verb. So a storybook will be bought by him. Now let's discuss interrogative sentences. And the structure of interrogative active voice is auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus object, and passive voice auxiliary plus object plus verb plus by plus subject. The first one is the structure of yes-no question, and the second one is WH question. So the structure in active voice of WH question is WH plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus object, and in passive voice it is WH plus auxiliary plus object plus verb plus by plus subject. It means that you're not going to change the sentence type of this sentence. If it is yes-no question, it will remain yes-no question. If it is WH question, it will remain WH question. So let's see which forms of auxiliary do we use in different three type of simple tenses. In simple present, we use does or do. But when we convert this into passive voice, we change it into is, am, are plus third form of verb. Simple past, we use did, which is converted into was, were plus third form of verb. And in simple future, we use will or shall plus base form of verb. And that will be converted into will be or shall be plus third form of verb. For example, does he buy a storybook? So it will be converted, does will be converted into auxiliary, is a storybook, and by will be converted to third form, is a storybook bought by him. and you have to put question mark. What did he buy? This is a WH question. So WH question will remain as it is. Only what will remain what, and did will be converted into was, and subject and object, as we know that here is only the subject given because object is there in the word what. So what was bought by him? Who will buy a storybook? Okay, all the rest of the WH words will remain as it is when they are converted into passive voice. Only who will be converted into by whom. So who will not buy a storybook? By whom will a storybook not be bought? So this is in the same way we have to convert as we did in affirmative. The only thing is that WH word will be converted. If it is who, it will be converted into by whom. If it is any other WH word, it will remain as it is. Okay, now let's discuss sentences with ditransitive verb. Ditransitive means a verb which takes two objects, a direct object and an indirect object. For example, she gave me a gift. She gave what? She gave a gift, direct object. To whom? To me. So, indirect object. So, there are two objects. So, let's see how to change this. This is active voice. First, I told you that we have to just bring the object at the subject's position. So, here, the object, we have two objects. So, we have to bring that object at the subject's position, which is near the verb. And me is near the verb, so when it will come at the subject position, it will become I. Afterwards, we have to put auxiliary plus third form of verb. So it is written gave here, will convert, this is simple past tense, will convert into was plus third form of verb. Then we have to just put the other subject. What? I was given a gift. And then we'll put the subject by her. Let's see another example. We will buy a book. He will buy a book for me. So here a book will be bought for me by him. So here a book is just after the verb. We have taken this as the subject now. We have wrote this object at the place of the subject. So you have to be very careful about this thing that the object which is near the verb, that is going to take the place of the subject in passive voice. Now, sentence with intransitive verb. Let's revise what is intransitive verb. As we did in the previous lecture, that intransitive verb does not take any of the object. For example, the birds fly in the sky. Now here, the birds is the subject, fly is the verb, and in the sky is adverbial phrase. There isn't any object because no word is giving the answer of what or whom. So there isn't any object here. So how to change such type of intransitive verbs? Let's see another example of intransitive verb. She did not cook well. So she did not cook. Here cook is verb and well is adverb. So there isn't any object here. These type of sentences we cannot change into passive voice because it's very important that a sentence should have an object so that we could replace the positions of the subject and the object. If there isn't any object in the sentence, we cannot change that sentence into passive voice. Okay, now let's see the vice versa, that how to change passive into active. The first sentence is the meeting was cancelled by the headmistress. Can you guess the tense of this sentence? Was cancelled. So was means that this is simple past tense, the passive voice of simple past tense. So now we have to just reverse the order. We have to bring the last word at the start, that is the headmistress. So headmistress will come in the start and the meeting will go at the end. And by will be removed and was cancelled. It will be changed into second form of verb. So let's see. The headmistress cancelled the meeting. So simple. Let's see another example. The books are sold. Now, the books are sold. Now there we don't have by whom. So if we do not have the subject here, we have to add that subject ourselves, by the shopkeeper. So the most obvious subject is the shopkeeper. So we'll add it ourselves and we'll write the shopkeeper sells the books. Because this is simple present tense, are sold. Are is used in simple present tense, so it will be converted into first form of verb. As shopkeeper is singular, so we'll write sells here. Let's see another example. Shall we be sent on a training course next month? It's a long question. So what we have to do, that this is a question, it will remain a question, and what we have to do is that we are going to bring the subject at the object's place position and object at the subject's place position. So look how. Because there isn't again any of the subject given. Shall we be sent on training course next month? But who will send us? So that we have to write ourselves. We have to think ourselves. So we are being sent on a training course. So it must be a company. So we'll just write that ourselves. Will the company send us on a training course next month? So it's a long sentence, so you need not to get confused in this because it doesn't have a subject. There isn't that by phrase in it. By whom? That isn't given. So when it is not given, you have to write it yourself. You have to think of an appropriate subject for this sentence and then you have to write it yourself and then complete the active voice sentence. How to deal Urdu sentences. The first is the example of simple present tense. And here the first sentence is दुकानदार महंगी किताबें बेचता है. And the second Urdu sentence is बाजार में महंगी किताबें बेची जाती हैं. So in the first sentence we can see that दुकानदार is the shopkeeper, means that is the subject. महंगी किताबें बेचता है. So the shopkeeper sells expensive books. Here we have the subject, we have the verb and we have the object as well. So it is active voice. The other sentence is बाजार में महंगी किताबें बेची जाती हैं. Expensive books are sold in the market. It's not mentioned who sells that. कौन बेचता है? This is not given in the sentence. It means when that is not given, it means बेची जाती हैं. So it means this is passive voice. So we'll write expensive books are sold in the market. Okay. Now this we have another example. क्या सदर ने बच्चों में इनामात तकसीम किए? So this is a question and किए मतलब के past tense and क्या बच्चों में इनामात तकसीम किए गए? So this is passive voice. So you can see in first sentence we have the subject verb object combination, but in the second sentence we do not have the subject. Who distributed the prizes? It's not given. So it is passive voice. Here this will be converted. Did the president distribute prizes among the children? And क्या बच्चों में इनामात तकसीम किए गए? Were the prizes distributed among the children? And another sentence is here. बावर्ची 2 बजे खाना नहीं लगाएगा. The cook will not serve meal at 2 o'clock. Again, this is active voice because subject verb object combination is here. 2 बजे खाना नहीं लगाया जाएगा. Who will do that? It's not given. So this is passive voice. The meal will not be served at 2 o'clock. This is all about active and passive voice. Hope you can do it well. I'll be sending you an activity, rather 2 activities. So you can do those activities on practice notebooks and hope you'll be able to do those. So best of luck and Allah.